Hello and welcome. My name is Meg Edwards, and today I'm joined by Robyn Eva. This is what hope looks like. And today we're chatting with Robyn. Robyn lives in South Gippsland. She's got over 25 years' experience, having worked in many sectors, including education, local government, health, finance, community services. Her particular focus is on emotional intelligence. However, today I'd like to chat with Robyn about a particular experience that she's been involved in last year in Tanzania and the impact that that's had on both the people in Tanzania and the impact on her and the people around her. Welcome, Robyn.
Thank you so, Meg. And of course, it just is so aligned with hope.
Absolutely. What does hope mean to
Yeah.
you?
Well, I love the hope because it makes me smile, actually. When I think of hope, I think of, something to look forward to, something's going to get better. Um, it it's a really good feeling. In
Yeah,
the emotional intelligence world, though, because I've been studying that for many years, we talk about optimism is an emotional intelligence skill. And optimism, my teacher had explained to me one day, is hope with a plan.
I love that.
And I love that.
Mm,
Hope with a plan. It's not just, oh, I hope things get better. No, I've actually got to do something
yes.
to make it get better.
Yeah. It's kind of putting the beacon there and then the action behind it to make it happen.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's not
Fantastic.
wishful thinking. It's like I need to do something to actually move this forward. And I love that. So it makes me more optimistic.
So before we dive into Tanzania, which is what I'd love to have the crux of today about, I know you through the Southern Business Women's Network and through your work locally, and you've spent a lot of time overseas. Can you just give us the broad, who is Robyn Eva?
Really briefly. Brought up in Melbourne, moved to South Gippsland about 25 years or so ago. My husband was a policeman at the time, and we'd heard about how people live in the country, and it's so wonderful for children. So we had three children and brought them all here and have loved it, haven't never looked back.
Mm,
Loved being in South Gippsland. At the time, the motto for the council was come for the beauty and stay for the lifestyle.
that's right. I remember
That
that.
was us. Yeah, that was so us.
Mm,
Anyway, then moving forward about probably 10 years ago now, I worked for TAFE,
mhm.
Gips TAFE at the time. Loved the organisation, loved my job, but that was when the government cut 300 million off the TAFE sector.
Ouch.
And so there was a whole lot of us who all lost our positions.
Mhm.
My husband, at the time, as I say, was a policeman, and their children had all moved to Melbourne. They were studying at university, and I said, I don't want to get another local job. Actually, I want to work overseas.
Mm, okay.
And so with that, we packed up and moved to China for 7 years.
Wow.
Not Tanzania, China, for 7 years. But that's where I started to hear about emotional intelligence and started to do certifications in that.
Okay.
So then we came back just prior to COVID, and I started up my own business, Forever Training, delivering training, mentoring, and now coaching using emotional intelligence skills.
Okay.
And being part of the Southern Business Women's Network, we have wonderful women do every month. And one of those women was Gemma Sisia,
Hmm.
who is the founder of the School of St Jude's in Tanzania.
Okay. Fantastic.
So I heard her speak at this event, and it was just like, oh my gosh, she is so inspiring. And so I went and said to her, could I come and deliver some emotional intelligence training, to your staff? Because I love what you're doing and volunteer that way. And she said, actually, I would like our year 10 students, and they're about 18 years old,
Hmm.
to have some training. Um, the School of St Jude's, just to give you a background, Gemma started it over 20 years ago.
Okay.
She's from rural New South Wales.
Okay.
And this school now has 1,800 students, probably about, say, 500 go to primary school. They get bussed in, they get fed and free uniform and free education. So all of this is through sponsorship.
Wow.
The high school students need to board
Okay.
because when she first started this, the criteria was Actually, you have to be poor.
Hmm.
So that generally means no electricity. A lot of
Hmm.
the times, no running water. Only one child per family will be allowed to come to the school, and
Hmm.
you need to be smart.
Okay.
Because what she said is, I am going to educate the people who change.
Mm.
Let's have a
Mm.
hope for Tanzania and um, educate the new leaders of
Okay.
tomorrow.
So 25 years it's been going for. So I'm guessing by now the children who went through on those early days are now leaders in their own rights. A lot of them, I'm guessing, in.
Doctors, yeah, Gemma, I know, had said to me, she went to the doctors recently out of the hospital and saw one of her students there. So, yeah, these are people who now have the most amazing skills due to this free education.
Well, it's been a hand
So,
up for them, hasn't it, really? Just to,
oh,
yeah, and to be able to take that back to their own communities and help lift others, I guess, is so. So you went across to Tanzania last year, is that right?
correct. Yeah, last year and hoping to go next year as well.
Okay.
So I started then mentoring. After I met Gemma, she put me in contact with the careers counsellor teacher, and I started mentoring her. So meeting with her every week and to teach her the skills of emotional intelligence. And then we wrote a program for them. And
Okay.
so she delivered it for the first year to the students. And then last year I came over it and delivered it, and we, adapted it even more. And I'm really hoping to go over next year to deliver it again. And it is truly, inspirational. These students they want to be there.
How many
Um,
students did you take through the program of emotional intelligence last year?
sure, I probably had 125.
Okay. All right. And
So
tell me what that entails. Like when you're up to unpack that program, you were there for 5 weeks. It's a 4 to 5 week program, is that right? Or that you
it's
do or
actually 9 weeks,
okay.
but I have family commitments as well. So I went for 5. And so there was 5 classes, and I would deliver a 2-hour session to each class.
Okay.
And when we're teaching emotional intelligence, we really say the process is the content. Now, all my certifications are through a global organization called 6 Seconds, and they've been around for over 20 years. And we can measure emotional intelligence. But we say the process is the content. You learn by doing.
Yes.
And so it's not just standing up there lecturing to them. It's about, first of all, inspiring them, asking them questions. Perhaps it's like, what's a challenge, or has there been something of an issue for you
Okay.
this week? For
Okay.
example, I'll deliver some tools, and I'll show you actually one of them. And then we go outside because it is just stunning
Yes.
outside of school in the beautiful gardens. And we split them into groups where they can just relax and go through the process of practicing emotional intelligence so they understand what it is. And then we come back and say, okay, wow, yeah, what have you discovered today? What are you going to do differently?
Okay. So can you take us through an example of one of those activities or something that you've done with one of them?
Okay, so an example, I've just taken a small piece out of one of the sessions I did for the students. And when we think about, a challenge, something that, is not going so right for us or we want to change, it's great to look at your thoughts, feelings, and actions. And as you can see on this slide, it's a circle. They're all connected. It's not like I always think this, then I do this, and I feel this about it.
Mm. Okay.
Some people have the emotion first. Some people do first and then think about it later and get the emotions, but they're all connected. Now, the actions, pretty easy to identify. It's our verbs, our doing things, we're breathing, we're typing, we're singing, pretty easy to identify.
Mm. Mm.
But thoughts and feelings can sometimes get mixed up, and we use it, in our language. But thoughts actually can assess data and make assumptions that may and may not be correct. Now,
Okay.
I might say, I'm not good at Excel. You know, I might think, oh, I'm not very good at playing tennis, for example. That may be true. But I also may have a thought, they don't care about me, or although I'm always ignored in meetings.
Mm.
And that can actually be assessing data that may not be true. So
But
sometimes
do
our
we when
thoughts,
that is not that thought is there, do we almost frame it so that that could happen because we're thinking that? Can that happen? So if we think, oh, everyone's ignoring me, does that set us up for failure versus
well,
I've got something going into a room thinking I've got something valuable to contribute?
yeah.
Does
So that's certainly your perception. It's not like, that is your perception. But I'll show you an example which shows you absolutely that can set that up.
mm,
Now, feelings can be in your body, okay? And so whether, I can feel ignored,
mm,
I can feel insecure, but I can feel joyful, creative. And there's over 3,000 English words for emotions actually in the dictionary. Huge. But what you just said was, for example, I'm just on this first line, it says, when I think this, I feel this, and I do this. Now, as I said, it doesn't need to be in that order.
mm,
But as you said in a meeting, when I think they won't respect my opinion,
mm,
I feel discouraged, so I keep quiet.
mm,
That's exactly what you were saying. Yeah, it
mm.
makes it happen, doesn't it?
Perception almost
They don't.
becomes the reality, doesn't it? It's you're forming your own reality with that and the impact. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The one I love, and this is certainly me, when I feel overwhelmed. So for me, I'll start to get a stomach ache. And now I can say to myself, whoa, what's going on here? My stomach is churning. And I think, uh-oh, I've got too much to do. So I start procrastinating.
Oh, I know that feeling. It just
Yeah,
becomes too big, right? It's just all overwhelming. Yeah. Mm,
exactly. And I've put these for the kids, I have these color coded. And so when I exercise, that's my action. When I exercise, I think, well, I'm getting fitter. This is really good. And so I
mm,
can feel accomplished. Now, going back on those first two examples for us, though, when I think they won't respect me and I feel discouraged, so I keep quiet, if you change one thing, doesn't matter if it's the thought, the feeling, or the action,
mm,
the other will change, another will change. So when I think they won't respect me, maybe I can say, I need to feel courageous.
mm,
I need to feel courageous and I need to speak my mind.
mm.
And then, as you
Absolutely.
said, I'm changing it, aren't I?
Mm,
Because if I
absolutely.
do speak my mind, if I have a bit of courage, or if I just do it and say, right, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to say what give my
Mm,
opinion in this
mm.
meeting. And then maybe I will realize, actually, they did appreciate my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting in so many aspects of life. It's easy to forget that when one lever is pulled, the other levers automatically change position. And so you've just changed one section of that and it's moved the others. Yeah. Mm.
And I
Mm.
love that. And when we get this connection, we're just more self aware of our pattern, how we always do things. Every time I go to a work meeting, I think they don't care about me, they don't care what I think. And so I keep my
Mm.
mouth shut.
Mm.
But in
Yeah.
actual fact, all workplaces need everybody to contribute. We need diverse thinkers, and we don't
Mm.
have to agree with
Absolutely.
everybody.
Mm. Absolutely. And it's yeah, we don't really get the best outcome unless we've heard all angles of it. But coming back to Tanzania and your work
Mhm.
there, have you got an example, obviously without giving the name of a student, but have you got an example of a student who you took through this process of the program and took it from, where was their point A and their learning and now they're point B and beyond, I guess. Have you got an example of that or?
Yeah. There was a couple of students that come to mind. One young boy, I had said to him, like when you're home during the holidays, how does that feel when you've
Mm,
got, your family's expectations of you or your friends? Is it difficult when you go back home?
mm.
And he said, oh, I love it when I go back home. All my family and friends want me to teach them.
Yes, fantastic.
And I just thought, wow, here are I from Australia thinking, well, what that pressure would be like. Everybody had these expectations on you. But for him, it was like, this is wonderful. I can
Mm,
share what I've been learning for my friends or my family who do not have the opportunity to go to this school.
mm. And the
And so I'm
ripple
really
effect of
keen
that, lifting
to do
lifting
that.
everybody up.
The other one was
Mm,
I had a girl, and after the class, she was, because they're so beautiful, she was carrying my laptop back to the office for me. And we were doing this think, feel actions exercise the week before.
mm-hmm,
And this is not a rare situation. In each of the classes, I noticed the same pattern. One of the children would say, when I'm feeling lonely, I go and sit in my room and I think nobody cares about me. Or
mm,
when I'm feeling, upset or anxious. And so I said to her, like I was really concerned how you said that the other day. This was a really smart girl, really
mm,
smart. And
mm,
again, she's going to be one of the leaders in the future.
mm.
And she said to me, oh, Miss Robyn, you've just changed my world. She said, now I know that I can change. So when I feel lonely, instead of going to my room and thinking no one cares, I now go out and find a friend and talk to somebody, and then I feel cared about. Or I put on some music and I dance, and that makes me feel really good. So she
That's
said,
wonderful.
I can change. By changing one, I can change another. And I love that.
So that sense of empowerment and taking action and um yeah, because I guess it's that old saying that nothing happens unless something happens, right? So nothing happens if nothing happens. And it's just taking that step and tweaking one thing. Do you ever for yourself, I'm going to change direction and throw this off cuff here a bit, but do you ever feel down yourself and how do you get out of that if you do? Or you're always up? Every time I've seen you, you're smiling. So I
Um, I think pretty optimistic, generally speaking, but absolutely,
Mm,
I will get down about that overwhelm. I've got
mm,
too much on. I'm being
mm,
drawn because I
mm,
choose to in different directions. So I do, quite a bit of volunteer work. I get to babysit grandkids 2 days a week, which I just adore. So I'm very lucky that my work allows that flexibility.
mm,
So certainly I can feel overwhelmed, Meg.
mm, mm.
Just going, and it's that I believe it's a woman thing. I should be doing this. I should
Mm.
be doing that.
Yes, yes.
I should. And and so when I'm feeling that, I just, I feel overwhelmed. So I procrastinate and think I can't do it. So then I change it. When I'm
Mm,
recognizing this feeling, I'm overwhelmed, I write a to-do list and I prioritize.
mm.
And then I can go, okay, I can handle this now. I know
Yes.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
So I
remember
find
having
that
that feeling
helpful.
as a child myself and an adult friend said and she said to me, let's just pretend that we're going to put everything in this big garbage bin over here, this metaphorical garbage bag, bin, and we're going to pull out one thing at a time and just deal with them. And I've gone, for me, that was at the time, it was like, that's actually, because I can't, just deal with one. And then once you've dealt with one, you've taken that action, it gives you confidence to deal with the next one and the next one. And another thing that was once said to me that you can do anything you want or or everything you want, but not all at once. So that kind of like, it's so easy to go, I want to say yes to this, and this, and this, and do all these things. There's so many opportunities in the world. But we do have to make choices and time is a budget too. We can't just keep saying yes to everything, as I've learned the hard way. You just end up dropping all the balls if you don't have that balance right. and keeping
Well,
it
I
there.
think too is what you've said when I say yes to everything, remembering when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Well, we should be. Yeah, because when we don't say no to something else, is when it falls over. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is that budgeting of our own resources, not just money, but of our time and our resources as people as well. Um, yeah. So and that work with Tanzania, how is that, has it changed the way that you reflect on your work here in Australia?
Uh, yes. You know, last year I was lucky enough, I've done a coaching course
Hmm.
through Six Seconds. And so I'm looking forward to getting my ICF coaching accreditation this year. And that has actually changed the way I deliver
Okay.
training as well. But seeing these students and how they just, you know, are so open,
Mm,
like, you know, they will, like this student saying, yeah, I'm so sad. I wasn't expecting so much honesty. And so
okay.
it's been wonderful and it's given me lots of hope too, for the future of our world as well. These are the people who are going to, make changes. Um, but to go, yeah, people actually do need this and want it and are capable if you just can give them some tools to go, yeah, I know how to deal with my well-being or making decisions, how to make decisions aligned with my values.
Mm, mm. You've probably
How
touched
do I
on a
want to live
whole
my life?
nother box there of defining your values as well, but we won't go there
Yeah.
today. But that's a whole nother box, obviously, aligning with that and moving it forward and seeing those options. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Robyn, have you got anything that you'd like to share as for anybody listening today, which is probably mostly Victorians, I guess, but mainly regional Victorians, but could be from anywhere, um, how how they could apply perhaps the thoughts, feelings, act, or
Mm,
what thought you'd like to leave them with today?
yeah, sure. Well, certainly, if you can practice that, so that then it becomes, you can start thinking about it more automatically.
Mm,
So just stay, yeah, every time something's coming up, what do I think about this? What am I feeling about it? And what am I doing about it? And then just go,
mm.
yeah, is this the person I want to be?
So
So how do
it
I want
is.
to turn up?
It is almost looking at yourself through a third perspective. Is that right? Sort of from
Mm,
an exterior perspective, going, what am I thinking? Sort of, what am I?
yeah. Well, it's what we say is, we're recognizing our patterns, our habits,
Mm, mm,
because a lot of the time, things we do, I mean, as human beings, we love our habits.
mm,
Makes our brains are efficient that way, but sometimes we do things on autopilot,
mm,
and they don't serve us well.
mm,
So, every time, let me give you an example. My husband would say a few times, "Oh, you've forgotten this," and I would just be instant. Every time he says something about I've forgotten something, I go into panic mode because my father had Alzheimer's. Now, it's a form of Alzheimer's that's not hereditary,
mm,
but I instantly snap back at him. So when I think he's saying, I'm going to get Alzheimer's, which of course he's not. He's just saying he forgot something. I feel this big overwhelm of like, oh no, my life is going to be terrible. And I snap.
mm,
And, I might raise my voice. Um, but now I recognize that, again, it's just becoming self-aware. I
mm,
recognize that habit in me. And so
mm,
now I can say, well, actually, is that the way I want to be?
mm,
No. So when I think when I hear he's saying, Robyn, you've forgotten something, I think to myself, it's okay, actually, Robyn, you are not losing your memory. It's okay. And I feel good about myself. And then, I can have a calm conversation
Yes.
and
Yes.
say, listen, could you change the way you frame things? Because I know you don't realize it. He doesn't realize it,
No.
but it affects.
Yes. Yeah.
But I can have a calm conversation about that, which means I have a better relationship.
That's fantastic. I really appreciate your time today, Robyn. I guess, this is one of the reasons why I started this podcast was because I felt like took action. I guess it's, hey, I need to feel some hope myself at the moment, fill my own cup. Hopefully others are filling their cups in the same process. And by you joining me today, you filled my cup today. Thank you for that. And hopefully others. And I think that's, when we share good in the world, it doesn't just put from one to the other, it expands and it grows. And you've done that today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Meg, for inviting me. You filled my cup today.
Thank you.